My real mom died from cancer when I was 10. My dad married Julia when I was 13. Julie and I actually had a good relationship when they were dating, but the marriage destroyed any chance of us ever reconciling in any way. I'm 17 now. What happened was that my dad gave my mom's ring to Julia. This is the ring my mom gave to me. Literally took it off her finger and put it in my hand in her final days. We had a huge fight when he did it, but they told me it is to bring us all closer together. It didn't. When my mom and dad married, it was my dad who took my mom's last name, so I have that as well. After their proposal, I requested that my dad can either take Julia's last name or they can go to my dad's maiden name, but I didn't want her to take my mom's last name. But they didn't listen. A year later, when they had a baby together, they named her after my mom in the honor of her memory. Again, I did not want that, but they didn't listen. My dad insisted that this would mean that they are respecting her and her memory. So the baby has my mom's first and last name, despite having no connection to her in any way. Julia has also started to wear my mom's belongings, like her dresses, shoes, watches, and jewelry. Julia is not a bad or evil person, and I liked her before these issues. But after all of this, there is no way for her and me to reconcile. Same goes for my dad, too. We live in the same house, but I don't talk to her. Every once in a while, she tries to mend things between us, but she's not willing to do what she needs to. Last night, we went out for dinner for Julia's birthday, alongside relatives from her side of the family. I didn't want to go, but my dad gave me no choice. At the table, I did not order food, only a glass of water. During dinner, Julia was sitting right there wearing my mom's ring and earrings as my dad tried to raise a glass and give her a toast, referring to her as his wife and the mother of his children. It's just 2 children. I raised my glass and then poured the drink on the table. As soon as people looked at me, I said, "She's not my mother." She said, "Please don't start something." And I said, "You can steal her ring, her jewelry, her clothes, her name. It doesn't make you her," and asked my dad if I can be excused and left. When they came back home, my dad talked to me and told me he misspoke when he said children, and I didn't need to make a scene. I told him that I didn't want to go, and he made me, so that's on him. Later, him and Julia asked me what it would take for me to stop this war, and for us to start over. I said it's simple. 1. Julia gives back my mom's ring. 2. She will not use any of my mom's belongings. And 3. They changed their last name to something other than my mom's. Ideally, they should also change the baby's first name, but I know that's not realistic, and it's not her fault. So I'm willing to compromise on that. Julia said no. I said, then leave me the F alone. My dad said I'm being an a-hole by creating an impossible situation. You didn't create this impossible situation. Your father and Julia did. They stole the ring your mother gave to you. That alone is just awful behavior. Julia wearing your mother's jewelry and clothes is also just creepy. I don't think you overreacted at all. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. There is something shady going on here. This is not honoring your mom's memory. This is downright theft. Her jewelry is yours to pass on to your children. Now it will go to your sister who has no connection to your mom. Julia doesn't have a backbone at all. Letting your dad play house with a living doll. Creepy, all of them. Not the a-hole. What the duck? I kind of pity your stepmom. Let's look at it in your stepmom's shoes. Your dad is rebuilding her in your mom's image. That poor woman has to live in your mom's shadow forever. Even her daughter has your mom's name. Your dad is the a-hole. He should never give your mom's ring to her. What the duck? And then gave your mom's last name to her? What the duck times 2? And then give your half-sister your mom's name? What the duck times 3? Let her wear your mom's clothes and jewelry? What the duck times 1,000? Someone needs to tell your dad off. Your mom's ring and other jewelry should be given to you and any other sibling you have with your mom. Your mom's clothes should either be donated or you can keep, but should not be worn by your stepmom. What the duck? Mother-in-law has hated me from day one. She's a mother-in-law from hell. Snide comments. "Oh, I was just joking. You're so sensitive." Excluding me from things, and straight up telling the therapist when we did group therapy that she hates me. My husband has a shiny spine, and we are very low contact, but do still see her since we have a mutual family. Mother-in-law recently got engaged to someone she went to high school with. Apparently, they really hated each other, which isn't too surprising. Mother-in-law has admitted she was a mean girl in high school. She thinks she's better now. Anyway, someone recently asked them if they were high school sweethearts, and mother-in-law was like, "Oh God, no, we hated each other." Person laughed, and mother-in-law said, "No, I mean real hate, like he reenacted the pig's blood scene from Carrie." I immediately perked up because I need to hear that story. He quickly clarified it was paint, and then unfortunately the conversation moved on. Later, I asked her fiancé about it. He said it was a funny story, but he wasn't going to tell me as he knows how I feel about her, and it seems mean. I pointed out that he is the one who did it, and he is literally still smirking while talking about it. He said that he can laugh at her. I can't. Honestly, I was just being playful, batting my eyelashes, asking in a cutesy voice and stuff. But he continued to say no, and I let it go. Well, imagine my shock when I heard through family that he had told mother-in-law I was flirting with him. Mother-in-law said she wasn't even going to confront me, but did tell her sister to show how pathetic I am, and because apparently this is proof that I am the problem. I immediately confronted her fiancé, and he said I was being flirty, and it would be weird not to tell her. I am furious. I feel so betrayed. He clearly made something out of nothing, so I said I would not be alone with him under any circumstances. Well, the other day, mother-in-law realized I was serious when she went to take something out of the oven, and I followed her into the kitchen. Hubby was in the bathroom. Mother-in-law called me ridiculous and a child. I also set a boundary that unless he formally apologizes in front of the family, I will not be going to the wedding. He is refusing, and I guess I feel a little bad about my husband not going if I don't go, but I have to stick to my boundaries. You're the a-hole. The backstory between you and mother-in-law isn't relevant. You flirted with her fiancé. You may have only been doing it to pry a story out of him, but you still did it. Badgering him to get that story was an a-hole move all on its own, by the way. No is a complete sentence. When you flirted with him, he immediately shut you down and told his fiancé about it. That is exactly what your mother-in-law should expect from him in a relationship. You are the only person who behaved badly in this specific situation, and nobody owes you an apology. Everyone sucks here. No wonder you and the mother-in-law don't get along. You're both mean girls. You said it yourself. You're batting your eyelashes and being all cutesy. It sounds like the three of you never left high school. You're the a-hole. They sound terrible, but we are judging this particular incident, not the overall relationship. You used flirtatious behavior trying to manipulate someone into doing something they didn't want to do, and are mad they called you out on it. You owe the fiancé an apology, not the other way around. No means no. I lost 70 pounds in a year, so my hair has become thinner. I bought some clip-in hair extensions and told my family and friends. They're aware this is an insecurity. I'm Persian, and hair is a huge part of me. I've always been known for having nice hair, eyelashes, and eyebrows. Ever since, one of my friends started acting weird. When people come up to me and start stroking my hair and complimenting it, which happens before I lost weight, she'd blurt out, "It's extensions." When we're hanging out with people literally talking about something different, she'll go, "Are you wearing extensions today?" She does this especially when guys are around. A while ago, I posted on IG, and she comments, "I can see your bald spots." Joking, "I can't because you have extensions in." I deleted the comment and texted her, me, "Dude, stop, it's getting annoying." Her, "What?" Me, "Why'd you say that on my pic?" Her, "Well, you have extensions in. Are you trying to play it off as if that's your real hair?" Me, "When? If someone asks, I tell them. If they don't, I'm obviously not going to bring up an insecurity. My hair used to be as thick, if not thicker than that before. I don't understand why you're hating." Her, "I'm not hating, just saying the truth. You deleted my comment anyways. Clearly you want to play it off as your own." Eventually, she half-hearted apologized, but I said I was done with her. Our winter formal dance is coming up, and our friend group planned to go together, so I was cordial. We're all having fun. Then this guy in my class I've had a crush on forever came up to me and said I looked pretty and asked to dance. He shook hands with a mutual friend in our group. Then the devil herself put her fingers in my hair and yanked the extensions out. No one even talked about my hair, and she just yanked it out. I yelled, "Dude, are you ducking jealous of me or something? Why the duck are you always worried about my hair?" Here she goes again with this, "It's not your hair." I was so pissed I pulled off a fake eyelash strip from one of her eyes and said, "Okay, well these aren't yours either, duck you," and took back my extensions and ran off. Fortunately, my crush chased after and eventually drove me home, and I talked about my thin hair due to weight loss, and he said he had a crush on me even when I was overweight. I know, my heart. And he thought my hair looked the same. My friends are on one side and the other. They all said she was an a-hole for doing that, but I also escalated it by saying she was jealous in front of her boyfriend and yanking her eyelash. Her boyfriend messaged me and said I was no better. I'm jealous of her eyelashes? Am I really the a-hole? Reddit always preaches to confront, then stop being friends, and that's exactly what I did, but she still bothered me. Not the a-hole. She deserved a taste of her own medicine. Don't dish it out if you can't take it back. This girl isn't your friend. She's jealous and spiteful. I mean, really, who cares if part of your hair isn't naturally yours? Once it's on your head, it's your hair. Not the a-hole, and she is not your friend. A real friend would never reveal your insecurities in front of other people, especially your crush. A real friend would never use your insecurity against you or to their own advantage. A real friend would not do the things she has done to you. She is not your friend. She's not only jealous, but she is insecure. She draws attention to your insecurities, so no one pays attention to the things that make her insecure. Since you have mutual friends and are in the same group of friends, it may be difficult to cut her off completely. My advice, don't tell her anything. Don't fill her in on anything personal. Don't give her your secrets. She's already proven she'll reveal personal things about you, so don't give her any more ammunition. Keep her at arm's length. Not the a-hole. Sounds like this girl kept you around before your weight loss because you were the fat friend that made her feel like she looked good and is horribly insecure. And when you lost your weight, she couldn't stand the fact that, now in her eyes, you looked better than her. She's a broken, insecure person that needs to try and break down others around her to lift herself up. Although you pulling her eyelash off could have been handled better, it's completely understandable. A person can only take so much. You stopped being friends with her, voiced your concerns like an adult, stood up for yourself without physical altercation, and she still went after you. What else were you to do but speak her own language at that point? I don't think you really did anything wrong, and pulling off her eyelash could almost be seen as self-defense in a way. I wouldn't recommend anything like that in the future, but like I said, understandable. My father passed away completely unexpectedly 2 months ago. He was twice divorced and had 3 children, 1 from his first marriage and 2 from the second. I'm from the second marriage. 3 years ago, he found a new girlfriend. She's a very kind woman, and he quickly proposed to her. She accepted, but on the condition that he moved out of his old apartment. The apartment has 9 rooms, all filled with documents, memorabilia, broken or very used designer furniture, and personal items. He never moved out. He simply couldn't muster the energy to clean it all up, and so they were never married. His girlfriend isn't mentioned in any will, probably because he expected to be married to her soon enough for it not to matter. Legally, she inherits nothing. She's now asking us to give her 2 things to remember him by: a wristwatch and a silver bowl. It just so happens that these are the 2 most valuable items in the entire apartment, probably around $10,000 each. We don't know if he promised them to her or if she just scoped them out when visiting him. We do know that he's already given her gifts worth around $100,000 and that she's well off financially. We could all really use some extra money at the moment. Some of us have small children, and one is saving up for a wedding. Would I be the a-hole for telling her that we're keeping the items, probably with the intention of selling them? To answer a few questions that come up a bunch of times. My father's apartment was rented and can't be sold. On the contrary, we owe about 4 months of rent on it, which we need to cover somehow. My father earned a lot, but also spent a lot. The estate is estimated at around $100,000, and 40% of that gets whisked away by taxes. Then we need to cover his remaining bills before the rest is divided between us. With a little luck, we'll come out on the other side with $20,000 each, but it's not very likely. I've already poured half of our savings into the funeral, the lawyer, and the estate, and my siblings and I have spent every single weekend since his death digging our way through his apartment. We're exhausted, emotionally and physically, and we need respite. We need to grieve in peace. My mother used to co-own the bowl, but as their inventory was divided between them during the divorce, she needed to let it go. We're willing to give it to her, but she's adamant on paying us. He never wore the watch. I've had a look at similar watches of the same brand, and we'll probably be able to get between $15,000 to $20,000 for it. That's roughly a third of the estate at this point. The bowl is looking at $10,000 on a very good day. My father was on friendly terms with both of his ex-wives, and they're on friendly terms with each other. I don't know who all these women are coming out of the woodwork in the comments, but these 2 have been standing firm for years. We need the money to cover our expenses. They'd also make our lives easier. We would set it all ablaze in a heartbeat if it meant we could have my father back. We do like his girlfriend and treat her like she's part of the family. However, since his death, she hasn't reached out to us once. She hasn't helped with any of the preparations or the cleanup. She's been friendly when we've seen her, but that's it. Sure, she's grieving, and we let her, but please remember that we're grieving too. We've never known a world without him. Not the a-hole. Perhaps consider talking with the executors of the will to give her the first option to purchase the items from the estate. If it hasn't been done, the executors should secure the home and consider changing the locks. Things go missing at this point all too often. Not the a-hole. A silver bowl? Please. I would say that giving her sentimental items is the right thing to do, because she was important in his life. But that is like a coat, a hat, pictures, and maybe even the watch, because a lot of people have a piece of jewelry that is very much a part of them. But she has a sentimental attachment to a silver bowl? No, she does not. Your instinct is right. These are items she knows are valuable. Because if she never moved in with him, I can't imagine she sees that silver bowl and says, "Oh, Frank loved that bowl, and we used to take it on picnics all the time." And that's why I wouldn't give her the watch either. Tell her you can give her a piece of clothing of her choice, and any photos she would like of the 2 of them, or even him, and call it a day. You're the a-hole, so you know she would have inherited a lot more if he had his way, and you are still greedy enough to deny her the 2 items? I get that you're grieving, but so is she, and this seems especially cruel.